All right, thanks everybody for joining us at the Athens Game Jam showcase. We have seven teams that have been making games over the past 48 hours based on the theme bureaucracy. Right now, we're going to have some teams tell you about their games, and after that, in a little while, at 5:30, we will have awards. There are going to be 5 awards. There will be the game with the best audio, the best sound, best implementation, and best design, and then there will be an overall grand prize winner. Um, Presenters, I'd ask that if you have in your game used found sound or art assets primarily, announce that so everybody knows when they're voting. And for anyone who's tuning in at home, the participants who have made games this weekend are voting on the other games for these awards. So whoever made a game gets to vote on the other games. All right, our first game is DMV-ania, or DMVania? How do you pronounce that?
DMvania.
DMVania, all right.
Hi, I'm Ben Berg. I'm part of the team Booyocracy. We made DMvania. It's a game where you want to try and renew your license, but you have to jump through hoops at the DMV to be able to even move. So basically, you just have to sign a bunch of forms to do basic things like platforming and moving until you finally get your trusty steed, Filibuster, which allows you to get to the end. And the art is all made by our wonderful artist, and the sound, some of it we made, and some of it, a lot of it we found online too. But the gameplay is 100% original, with great assets such as this not-so-so businessman who gives you all of the forms you need. Yeah. And then once you back to which one? Next. This one. Yeah. So early on in the game, you meet an elevator attendant, which tells you which way to go. So he's a nice guy, and then. Yeah.
Thanks, man. All right. I guess our next game will be. I don't know if the order changed. What do you have next? Partials. Partials.
We don't have screenshots uploaded yet. I'm doing that now.
Okay.
We have a web host if we can pull it up. That works.
All right, I'll pull it up. What's your game called? Listener?
Oh, yeah. So the website is just listener.partials.co.
Is there a link? Is there a link up?
There should be a link.
Cool. I'll pull it up.
Yes, check it out. Our giant images will load eventually. So the concept behind this is it's a swipe-based dungeon crawl, and let me see if I can remember our pitch. It's a strange silence has fallen on the world. You must make pilgrimage to ancient places of power in search of a lost harmonic language. So the idea is, so you can swipe up, you've got an instrument that you can play, and then some buttons. The game will actually recognize if we have a score further along where you play the instrument to unlock a door, and it'll recognize if you play the right melody. And then when we dig into it a little further, in the next couple months or whatever, the idea is to do something sort of like Mega Man. So you'll learn a song in each dungeon or each temple, and then that song will have a special power, and then you apply that in the next dungeon or temple. And I just want to give a shout out to Ian. He did all the art. We had 3 artists lined up, and all of them either got sicked out or bureaucracied out, so that's where our relation to the theme comes. But Ian totally stepped up to the plate last night at like 10 o'clock after it was clear that nobody else was going to be able to make it, and totally just like made all of our art assets, so totally killed it. All right.
Fruit Punch is next? Is that? All right, Fruit Punch. Come on up.
Okay. Okay, so we made, oh goodness. All right, so we made a, yeah, that's gonna be our music. We're gonna be playing it. We don't have a video for it. We made a tabletop AR game with Euphoria using either phones or webcams. You can use either one to play. So yeah, this is what the cards look like. Okay. This is what the cards look like. You have 7 different fruits. 3D models spawn over your cards when you place them on your table. They have animations. They're pretty cute. And then the gameplay, there's 3 different ways to play. There's a short game, which is like War. You have 5 cards, you pick 3, you keep playing. That's the AR implementation we actually completed this weekend. It looks like that. Yeah, I can go back one. Or forward. That's fine too.
Yeah, just
Okay. Just kidding. Yeah, you lay down your cards. It'll be 3 and 3. The red team will also have like cards out, and then it like shows the player health on either side. I don't know what sideways, but yeah. And then you click to do damage, and then you keep doing rounds until the damage is done. That's the short game. The long game is a little more complicated. A lot of strategies involved. There's a lot of combos you can do. Each of these characters obviously has a point value ranging from 0 to 7, and then you have combos which adds to it. So basically, without being able to lay down cards in front of you and show you how it works, it's strategically choosing whether to block somebody else's combo or make your own. We had sound effects. All of our sounds and sound effects were done by Stuart, and then we did all of the artwork and all of the 3D models ourselves. I don't know if we can play the sound effects. Just kidding.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can show you then.
Thanks. All right, up next we have Alt Water Authority.
All right, thanks. So I came into the weekend with the idea of doing an app to facilitate these. There's kind of a group of people that do water collection to check community water supplies as citizens. So we wanted to help them motivate that. And then we got the bureaucracy theme and modified the app a little bit. So what we came up with is this scenario where the water authority budget's been cut, and shut down, and there's a group of scientists who are helping out the citizens with this effort, and Dr. Bob sends out messages on social media. So it's kind of we were influenced by Pokemon Go and like alternate reality games. So what you do is you basically get a map of your location and have to follow, go to each of these locations and answer a question, and then the answers combine and lead you to a geocache where there's a prize in for you. And we were going to incorporate some AR, augmented reality, capture, which actually did work, but we didn't include it in the game. So I'm an app developer. This is my first game. It's a pretty good experience. Interested to test on people. Can definitely lead people if you're not clear communicating. Get some interesting results, but good time. Thanks.
Is the Bureau Ball team here? Are they here? Yes, they're here. Cool.
Hey, so our game is pretty much dodgeball, but with more rules. At the beginning of each round, everyone's given 2 random rules. Some of them are pretty mundane, but some of them like change the gravity to go left. And then the game starts with all the picked rules, and you just have to play dodgeball with all the rules. And when you get hit with the ball, you die. And the last one standing wins. That is pretty much it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, Cube Party.
Alrighty, so we did Cube Party, and the way our game works, so the way we took the prompt was we found a working definition of bureaucracy, which is highly specialized and making where different people do different jobs. So we took that and made a 4-player co-op puzzle game where there's 4 different cubes. And actually, hold off on that one. Yeah, I'll come back to that one. But there's 4 different cubes, and different color cubes have different abilities. And so you have to work together to solve the puzzles. And so you might have one level that has the same puzzle as the last level, but depending on which players you're given to work with, you have to solve the puzzle in a different way. So we have simple ones like when these, one of them can move horizontal and the other one can only move vertical. So you have to work together in order to reach the button to open the wall to get the pickup on the other side. Now go back to the other one real quick. So in that one, the previous one, yeah. Now this one, this was one of the more fun ones that we had to work with. Where there's only 3 cubes, but the 4th player is actually the room itself as a cube. So he gets to rotate the room, and then the other cubes can freeze in place while the room rotates, and you can use that in order to solve the puzzle. But it was a pretty fun little game that we did. 10 levels. Anything else? I don't think so. All right, cool. That's our game, Cube Party.
Okay. Is that everybody? Sun King, yes.
Our game only works properly on Firefox because Chrome's HTML5 support is very bad if you have Firefox on your computer. We wrote our game entirely in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, standard web technologies. So if you have Firefox, otherwise it's not going to show correctly. All the GUI's gone in Chrome. Sorry. So the Sun King, the title of it is a reference to Louis XIV's epithet in France. I'll wait till the distractions. Oh, okay. And our game is based on 1700s France because we thought at first, and we had to make a game about bureaucracy. So obviously it would be a government simulator. But everyone's done a democracy simulator or a Soviet Union simulator, and we hadn't really seen any 18th century France simulators. So we went ahead and we went ahead and with that idea. So you play as the king. You're actually playing as basically Louis XV, not the 14th. But Louis XV didn't have a cool name, so we went with the Sun King. And your goal is to balance the opinions of the different estates to keep them from killing you, because it's France. And so so you're just gonna show screenshots.
Trying to.
Okay. But it's just showing the Chrome version of the game, which doesn't work. That's all right. So apparently the demo here isn't working quite right. But we have 3 estates. We have the nobility, the clergy, and the commoners. And they start out with different ratings for how popular they are. So we have 67% for the nobility, 50% for the clergy, and 33% for the commoners. And you have taxes as well that you can raise. If you raise them too high, your corruption starts to increase, and you start losing tax revenue because people stop paying their taxes and start rioting and looting the capital. The clergy lose approval twice as fast as the other 2 when you raise taxes because they don't expect to be taxed, whereas the nobility and the commoners are okay with it. We did research on the actual incomes of different peoples at this time, as well as the population count. The population grew between 1600 and 1801, and also the GDP growth, etc. And we calculated it all, and so that's the economy there. It's relatively good, although there's an exploit where if you tell the taxes to 0, you won't lose any money because I didn't put general expenses because we ran out of time. So if your approval gets below 25% and you answer an event, and you click next turn, you instantly lose because your popularity has dropped too low. And so the whole game is played around these events there at the top. We have about 20 so far, and you get a random event every turn. You have to decide how to respond to it. Some events have up to 8 different options, I believe they were, but they only show a maximum of 2 options per event per time that they show up. So you have to pick between the different events and balance their positive and negative effects to keep the different estates from killing you. And the goal is just to survive as long as possible. And that's basically the gist. Sorry, this didn't quite work out so well with Chrome.
Okay, everybody make sure you play all the other games and vote on them. And then at 5:30 we'll have the awards.